All right, the food forest has been pruned. Gave it a good haircut. I'm drenched, both in sweat and in the moisture that accumulates on all the leaves. And here it is. Look how liberated it is. A lot more sunlight, a lot more airflow. If you haven't seen the previous video where I show all the surface crops super high and kind of overtaking everything else, then you should check out the other video because the difference is quite drastic. So check out all of that biomass on the ground. Check out the turmerics in the center. Gonna pop off with all that new sunlight. Even though turmerics are kind of shade-loving plants, the Mexican sunflower will be back above it in a couple weeks. The eucalyptus now has a lot more, and the leucaenas and all the different service species that are more tree species as opposed to like shrubs like the Mexican sunflowers. They got a lot more sunlight to work with. Same with these bananas. A lot more sunlight. So they're gonna pulse in growth now that there's a big opening. Same with this banana here. This banana's been booming. The compost pile has been cut down and added back to itself, so this banana's gonna take off. But yeah, that's the importance of chopping and dropping and letting your service plants actually get, somewhat big and not being. I feel like last year I was a little quick to pull the trigger on chopping and dropping. So this year I'm trying to just slow it down and do it periodically, once every 2 months or something like that, so that things can really, really accumulate and you can really get a nice amount of biomass on the ground. Makes it a lot easier to see things too, see my beds, see my patterns. I plant so much stuff that I tend to lose it all once the service species get huge. This beautiful dwarf enamel, gonna be eating good. All this biomass on the ground. Mix of Napier grass and Mexican sunflower. The cassavas got some room too now. I use the cassavas as well as a service species, so you can see I'm trying out different methods. This is me lifting the skirt up so that I preserve the stick so that I can propagate from those later. And these that already have sort of nice thick trunks, I'm kind of topping off, and you can see the amount of biomass it provides is abundant, and it sort of makes it less prone to topple over in the wind. Got way more biomass down here. All that cassava. Now the taros and the turmerics got a little bit of sunlight to work with. Now that the cassavas are tipped, the moringas are able to jump up as well and beat the cassavas, because I eventually want moringa to be up my emergent species for now. Still have to work on this bed, but maybe I'll do another video for the specific bed. The other side I'm actually just gonna wait for when I come back from Honduras, because I'll be going on a little mini vacation to Utila, which is an island in Honduras. So that's why I wanted to get the major stuff done now before I go. But yeah, let's take a look at what was once a huge wall of Mexican sunflower. It's now nice and open, letting lots of sunlight in, letting that breeze in. letting biomass hit the ground so that the stuff that's already established can eat and be fed. And like I said, it also helps me to see the gaps that I need to fill in, because been a little bit more lackadaisical about this food forest these past couple weeks. So there's been a lot of like torpedo grass or whatever this grass is, intrusion, because I've sort of skimped out. I've come to realize that because of the freeze, I needed to replenish that early succession where cassava would have been handy, but a lot of my cassava got fried in the freeze and I didn't replace it. So lesson learned, but either way, there's still so much abundance, and now everything's gonna pulse with all this sunlight, and hopefully this banana flower is coming out. Hopefully that develops a little bit more readily now that there's just so much growth hormone action going on. So yeah, there it is. Got a haircut. Now it's looking fresh.